Hi, this is Carrie from Scrapyard Chicks, and I want to show you what our project is for the week. I'm sorry, I'm holding the camera with my hand, so it makes it a little bit tricky to try and to tape this, but it's a little 6x6 book, and along the top you can see it's got lots of fun things sticking out the top, and then we also did lots of fun things kind of sticking out the sides, and we did it in a birthday theme, and we do have kits of this available, so if you wanted to order a kit for this, and then we give you a link to the videotape that shows, or the online video that shows you how you put together. So as you open it up inside, it's full of these fun tags. We've got pockets with all these, with some fun photo mats in there. Sorry, I'll pan back a little bit. And then as you just keep going through, you see it's got pockets and lots of space for photos. So we've got lots of fun. Sorry about that. I had to stop for a second and I had to sneeze. So anyway, sorry that I kind of moved the camera. So it's got lots of fun space for tags, and we do a couple of different kinds of pockets with this one. So you can just see how much fun this is. I did it, like we said, we did it with the birthday theme, but you could definitely do it with just any kind of a theme that you want. And then this is what it looks like on the outside. We've got this great binding, and we use some of our trim going around. And the embellishments for the kit are, they're on a spring. I don't know if you can see that. So they actually wiggle, and there's 3 different embellishments for that. So anyway, so that's going to be our project for the week. If you're one of our subscribers, stay tuned, and we'll go through all of the construction details for this great project. Thanks. Hi. Okay, so we're going to start our book construction for this little book. And to start with, what you're going to use is you need 3 pieces that are 6x12 of your pattern paper and 3 pieces that are 6x12 of your cardstock. We're going to be doing the accordion part on the pattern paper. So what you want to do with each one of these is you want to put it in your score pal or your whatever you use, and you want to score it at the 6-inch mark for all of those 6x12 pieces. And you can just kind of gently fold it. You don't want to score it too hard because that will tear your paper. And then you've got all these 4x6 pieces. You have 1 of each of your cardstock colors, so that's 3. So it's 4 inches this way by 6 inches this way. So we're going to put it in our score pal. I've actually already done this. And go ahead and score that every 1/2 inch as you go across. And then once you score that, what you're going to do is you're going to accordion fold it, just like this. And the scoring is just so it gives you a nice straight edge for folding. I mean, that's really the purpose of scoring something. So you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. So you want it to have kind of a flat piece and then a mountain valley, like, you know, along those lines. So then take your bone folder, and you want to make sure that those that you have those really folded well, because what we're going to do is we're going to make a little accordion piece out of this. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do is we are going to start with our cover. This is going to be the outside of our book. We're basically making 3 booklets with these little accordion pieces in the center, and then 3 other pieces, and we'll kind of show you how that all puts together. But this is going to be the outside of our book. So you want to figure out what you want for the outside first. And so then we're going to actually glue this accordion strip right inside along the fold line like that, and that's what we're going to attach our little pieces to. So the easiest way to do that is, once you have it all accordion folded, is to just pinch it with your fingers. If you have trouble holding, what you could use is you could use a couple clothespins. And then I like liquid adhesive, so I'm just going to go ahead and put, I'm using 3-in-1 glue all along those flaps. You want something very strong for this, whether you use the Tombow multi-glue or zip dry, but you definitely something that's got some serious hold. I'm not sure if any of the tape adhesives are, whoopsie, didn't mean to do that, are really quite strong enough to hold this. The problem is they kind of pop up over time. So go ahead and put glue all over that flap like this. And then what we're going to do is we are going to glue that right along that center fold. So I start at the bottom, put it right at the center, and then you can glue that to the top. And one of the things is you should be able to fold your book around that accordion piece like that. The nice thing about liquid adhesive is you can kind of slide it into place. So once you have that glued in, it should look like this. You can see on the side how it, you can kind of see those little accordion pleats. So you've got a piece that looks like this. So I did, so that's my first one. I've already done 2 more, like this and like this. So we've got 3 of these, and then we've got our 3 pieces that look like this, that are our 6x12 cardstock that we've scored, that we're just going to go ahead and fold in half. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the one we just did, which is the cover. This is going to be the outside. So we've got this accordion piece, and then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually glue one of these solid pieces back to back like this to the back of that. And then we're going to put another one of our, so let me go ahead and do that instead of just talking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue all around the perimeter. You could probably use your tape runner for this part. Since I already have my liquid glue out, I might as well just keep using it because it's just as easy. I like 3-in-1 because it dries really fast. And for some people that's not so good, but for me, I really like that. Make sure you get a lot along that binding and along your edges. Okay, so I've got my 6x12 piece that's folded in half. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue that to the back side of that first little booklet. Okay, so what I've got is, this is going to be my cover, and then I open it up and I've got my first accordion piece, and then I went ahead and I glued that next piece to the back side like this, and I'm going to keep going. So then I'm going to glue my next pattern piece on after that. I'm going to pause for just a second so I can take a couple pictures for the directions, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've glued that red section to the back of this, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put glue on the back side of that red section, just all around the perimeter. And then I'm going to glue that to my next piece that has the accordion stuff on it. So let me just get my glue all over. It never wants to come out when I want it to. And then it will come out in a big blob. I think everyone's experienced that. It's kind of like drinking a milkshake sometimes. So I've got my glue all over the back side of this. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue I'm going to glue my next booklet to the back side of that red cardstock piece. Just kind of cinch that down. Nice thing about wet glue is you can kind of move it around a little bit until you get it into space. Don't worry if you have a little bit of cardstock or paper showing around the edges, because you can always trim that off later. Okay, so we've started out, we've got our cover. Then it opens up to this little bit right here with our little accordion piece. Then we've got a solid. Then we've got another accordion piece. And then we're going to do another solid. So I think we'll do the brown this time. Just kind of, sometimes even if you score and fold it, sometimes your accordions get a little bit off, so you might need to correct it just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my brown. And then I'm going to put adhesive on the back of that. This is one of those projects that when you look at the directions it seems really complicated. The best way to do this is just to kind of cut it and start working. And once you start, it seems like then you kind of get it and you're like, oh! Okay, so we're going to glue that brown down to the back side of that section we just did. Make sure it sticks down nice. Don't worry about your binding. We're going to cover that up with another strip of paper. So, okay, so far we've got this first section, then we've got our red. We've got another section, then we've got our brown. So then we've got one more section of our pattern paper that we're going to go ahead and glue onto. See how it's just wanting to pop open? It's very stubborn. Here, I'll put my water bottle on it for a second. We have one more section of pattern paper that we're going to put on there at the end. Oh, so I actually had to cut too many pieces of 6x12, so that was my mistake. So because we're at the end of our book, and so that is going to be, our last page is going to be the pattern. So that's going to be what our outside looks like. So we've got, for our inserts, we'll just have a red and a brown. So we'll use that turquoise somewhere else. Sorry about that, I wasn't paying attention. Okay, so we're going to put our adhesive all along the back side of this brown piece. Like that, and we're going to glue that to our last pattern paper section. Make sure that's stuck down nice. Okay, so what we have now is, we have this great little birthday book. We've got our front cover, accordion piece, then we've got red, 6x12 red. Then we've got another pattern paper section with our little accordion piece. We've got a 6x12 brown. And then we've got this other one with a little accordion piece. And then there we've got our back cover. So then what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how to do the binding and what we're going to put inside of the book. So I'm going to get that ready and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we finished up our book as far as putting on all of our pages. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the binding for it. And I'm going to use a piece of cardstock to bind my book, and you want it to be 3 3/4 by 6. And so then what you're going to do is you're going to put it in your Score Pal, and you want to score it 1.5 inches along the long edge, and then flip it around and score it again at 1.5 inches. And what that's going to do is when we go ahead and bind it, it's going to let us have that fullness around the edges of our book like this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put adhesive only on the parts that hit the front and the back of the book. I'm not going to worry about putting adhesive on the binding edge because we want that to be a little bit open. So I'm not going to do that on the camera, but you can kind of imagine. So you're just going to go ahead and put your adhesive on the back side of that and just wrap that around, and that's going to be what your book looks like on the front. And then I'll be back at the end to show you how it's all finished up. But let's show you right now how we're going to embellish some of the pages. So one of the things that I'm going to put inside these little accordions is I'm going to do some tags. And my tags are all 3 by 4, and you're going to need 9 total. So I used a piece of white cardstock, and then I used my scraps from the pieces I've already cut. And what you're going to do with these is just, what I did is I just cut a 3 by 4 rectangle, snip the corners to make a tag, and then you're just going to go ahead and you're going to put adhesive, and once again I recommend liquid adhesive for this, just along that, that little edge of your tag, and then you're going to just scoot that right onto the top of that accordion like that. You can just kind of pinch that with your fingers. And then we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with the next tag. Go ahead and put your adhesive along the back, just no more than about a 1/2 inch in. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put this to the side for a second. I did the first one, and then I'm going to do the last one, and then I'll center the middle one in between. I always kind of forget about that little trick. So we'll go ahead and do this, a red tag. And then I'm going to worry about embellishing these later. So I'm going to go ahead and scoot that all the way down to the bottom. Just kind of pinch that accordion strip. And like I said, we're putting these on the front side of those accordions. Okay, and then for the next one, what I'm going to do is I want to center it right about the middle of that strip like that. So that way when I open my book, I've got this kind of a waterfall action. Now you do want to make sure you give that adhesive enough time to dry. I started messing with it and I can already see it's kind of starting to pull away a little bit. So that's what we've got on the inside we're going to do. And we're going to do that on each section. We're going to put 3 little tags on there. And you could definitely add more. You could do a little mini photo mats and stuff like that. So the next thing I'm going to show you is we're going to do a little pocket. So what I did for this little pocket is I took one of my other patterns of paper. You could use scraps from the ones you've already used. And I cut a 6 by 6 and then I scored it at the 3-inch mark and I just folded it like this. And what I'm going to do is, this has got this red solid on the back side. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and I'm going to put adhesive along the outer edges. I love 3-in-1 for this because it dries hard, so you don't end up with any of that gummy adhesive that you sometimes get when you're using like tape runner, but you could certainly try it with your tape runner if that's easier for you. Just going to go ahead and put adhesive along those edges. And then we're basically just going to fold this around the bottom of that page. Now, one of the things you want to do is you want to make sure you scoot that into the fold as far as you can. And if you end up with some extra on the outside, you can always trim it off. And what that's going to give us is that's going to give us a little double-sided pocket on each side of that page. Isn't that great? And we're going to slip some photo mats and stuff inside there. So we're just going to keep going back and we're going to do another kind of pocket. We're going to do that one on... which one? This page right here, on our brown. And so for this one, we want a 6. Okay, so we're going to do another type of a pocket, and we're going to do that with a piece that is 6 by 12, 6 inches this way by 12 inches this way. We're going to score it at the 1/2 inch mark, and you do want this to be something that's multi-directional because we're going to actually turn the corner down. So with this one, it is directional. So one side of it is just numbers kind of jumbled up all over the place. So I'm going to put that on the outside. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put that over this page. And I'm actually going to fold down, it doesn't work. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do another kind of a pocket. So we cut a 6 by 12 piece like this. We're going to score it at the 6-inch mark. Now this is, it's a directional piece on one side, but the back side is not, and that's going to really work to our advantage. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a pocket. We're going to put this on the front, on this side like this, and then we're going to fold it around to the back. And what we're going to do is we are going to just fold that down in half like this. Well, you wouldn't have to go. So we end up with a pocket that looks like this. And for this one, you can glue this down just like we did before, or you could staple it and you can cover up your staples, whatever you like. Now on this side of the pocket, what we're going to do is we're actually going to fold this down at an angle. Oops, I think I want my angle to go this way. Yeah, let's do our angle this way, so that we can tuck some little goodies into our pocket there. Let's make maybe a little more of an angle. About like that. So this is going to be our front side, and then this is going to be our back side. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim a little bit off of that flap right there, because it just seems to me like it's just kind of a little bit too much. You could do it with your trimmer. I'm just taking maybe about 1 inch off. Kind of work as you go with some of these projects. So anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my glue all along, once again along those outside edges, because we want to capture that on our page, and we want something once again that's going to dry hard, or that's going to stick pretty darn well, because these little mini books do get kind of jostled around quite a bit. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to scoot that right into the fold, and then we're just going to glue that along the edge. Now with this one, you can see we end up with some that's kind of running off the edge. That's okay. Once we get it all glued down, we can come back through with our scissors, and we can just go ahead and trim that off. So then we've got this cool little flap pocket right here. And then we've got another little pocket on the back side. So I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim that off even with the edge of my page. That happens sometimes because we've got all this binding stuff right here, and it's really hard to get it so that it really comes out even. So we've got that kind of going on like that. Now this is kind of a little bit flimsy up here, so I think I'm going to add a little bit more adhesive just on that top edge, just to kind of make sure it's really stuck down well. And then I can go ahead and tuck some little items into that pocket. So what I'm going to do now, so I've put my binding on the outside, which we scored and folded, and then I glued that when I was off camera. We're going to be putting tags in those little accordion pieces. You can make some pockets, and then I'm just going to go ahead and finish up my book, and then I'll be back to show you what it looks like when it is all done. Thanks. Okay, so here's our finished project. It's this little 6x6 book. And it's got this great little binding. I'm sorry, I'm holding the camera, so it makes it a little bit tricky to try and tape and hold it at the same time. It's got our great little binding. On the cover, I put some trim going down the side, and then we've got these really fun, I'm going to kind of zoom in. They're on a spring. They're these little pieces that come with this paper line. We are going to have kits of this available, so if you wanted to buy a kit, it's got all the pieces, the trim, the paper, all the fun things to put this together. So I'm just going to go through this sort of piece by piece, and like I said, I apologize. I'm holding the camera with my hand, so instead of using the tripod, so it makes it a little bit tricky because I'm over at my parents', so I'm not in my usual studio. So this is the cover, and then when you open it up, you see these 3 tags, and I just went through and did a little different trim treatment on each one. And then in our pocket right there, we've got another piece of trim, and there's a couple little photo mats that go into the top. And I use that technique on the back of these stickers, which is where you, if they kind of hang out over the top, then you put a little baby powder on the back side of that so that it keeps it from being sticky. So then the back side of that pocket is another pocket, and I did another one of those fun spring-loaded, whatever you want to call it, embellishments there. But you could do a die cut there, you could do a photo or something like that. A couple more 4x6 photo mats in the pocket. On the following side, we've got a 4x4 with some rickrack going across. And then on the back side of that page, I used a sticker, and then we've got some more tags out here, some different ribbon treatments. you've got kind of going on there. And then that's that great fold down pocket, and I put 2 photo mats in there cut from my pattern paper. So these are 4x6, and just used a sticker to stick that down. The back side of that one is another pocket, remember, that we did, and it's got 2 more photo mats in there. So there's lots of space for photos with this. Another one of those fun spring-loaded embellishments. And then I used some of my pattern paper on top of those plain cardstock pieces so that you could put a photo on there. And this is our last accordion piece. There's a 4x4 here with some trim along the bottom, and then 3 more tags. And then you could do a photo on the back. And then if we come to our back cover. So you see just what a really fun, it's kind of fun little book this is. It looks really cute at the top. Looks really cute at the sides too. So anyway, that's our project for the week, and I hope you enjoy it. And it just makes a really fun, you can do it for a birthday, you could do it for really any kind of occasion. And I will see you next Wednesday. Thanks. Bye.